Here we go, the honey hole. Now running on fumes. We're getting near the end. I can only see a few more actual boxes that were retail. And then I've got a shit ton of brownbacks. And then we're done with the honey hole. There are other tapes to show, but I'm going to have to call it something other than the honey hole because we are now at the end. And we've got the Blade Runner. There's so many cuts of this film. I'm assuming this is the original theatrical cut with all the narration, but we shall see. Harrison Ford. Can't quite make out that scene there, though. What is that? Looks like a stylized photo, almost like a one sheet or something. 2019. Boy, did they get that wrong. Well, they weren't that far off. There's no flying car, but what a rip, right? A flying car. Although the way people drive here, can you imagine? Whew. The car's landing in your lap while you're watching TV. Blade Runner. This is an oldie, but look at the shape of this thing. I mean, this must have been 82, 83, right? What does that say on there? 82? This is in exceptional condition, especially for this company here. Doesn't have the best track record. If you don't know Blade Runner, I mean, this one. A bunch of robots running around that are acting like jerks. Harrison Ford's got to go put an end to that. Sci-fi. It is for smart people, really. I've noticed the dumber the person, the less they get it, so. At your own risk, watch Blade Runner if you haven't seen it. It's a good movie, I think. I've seen it probably 10 times. And there's probably 10 different cuts. The Lords of Discipline. Now, here is one. This is why I do this. Here's one I've never heard of. And that guy on the front, David Keith, I like him. He wasn't in enough movies and didn't get enough respect. I remember him in, what was the Elvis movie? The kids, Heartbreak Hotel. The kids kidnap Elvis. And he's in that white jumpsuit phase and all that mishigas. And they kidnap him to their house because their mother is a big Elvis fan, and they make him change into his 50s sort of heyday Elvis. Gets a haircut, gets rid of those mutton chops, or the 50s fashion. But that ain't that movie. This is Lords of Discipline, so let's find out what this is about. Lords of Discipline. Looks military? Is a riveting and suspenseful tale of human triumph. Well, all right, we're off to a good start. David Keith, not to be confused with Keith David. I like him too, though. An officer and a gentleman, stars as Will McLean. Isn't that John McClane? Is Die Hard? I couldn't come up with some more last names. A fine, disciplined cadet whose uncompromising integrity leads him to defy and reject the rules of conduct that have shaped him. I'm not 100% sure what that means. The year is 1964. Carolina Military Institute has admitted for the first time a young black man into the freshman class. Will is asked to protect him from the 10, a secret society of cadets dedicated to eliminating from the school those it deems unfit. So what does that mean? He's just not a good soldier, or they don't like that this new guy's in there. Steeped in the myth and legend, the 10's power, boy, that's cheeseball. The 10 power extends to every corner of Will's life, and he is ultimately forced to risk his career, the love of his closest friends, and his own life. Well, I'm going to check that out. Could it be as good as that description led us to believe? No, look at that there. Tells me it's a rental. But look at the shape this is in. And this is 83. I don't know that they had solved that glue problem yet, but This thing's in good condition. I'm thinking, because I never heard of this. I mean, you know, how much money did it make at the box office? Probably people looked at that and went, that's not that. Let's come on, admit it. That's not the best cover. That doesn't tell you anything. And when you were in the movie store and going to rent something, it was the cover that was going to get you in there. All right, I think I've said before, I'm not the biggest John Belushi fan, but here is his best of. I'm assuming that means Saturday Night Live, right? The Blues Brothers, Soul Man. Oh my! Listen, was there a mass hypnosis back then, or do people really like them singing Soul Man? I don't know. Every time I hear it, I think it's so jive. Samurai Delicacy. Yeah, I mean that's everybody's seen that. Group Therapy. Some of these others, I guess, I haven't seen. The Last Voyage of the Starship Enterprise. I think I did see that. He had like a big fat belly. He was the captain. Don't Look Back in Anger. Call Them Snappy. Oh, and look who's in it. Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, Jane Curtin, Garrett Morris, Bill Murray, Lorraine Newman, and Gilda Radner. With special guests, Elliot Gould, Buck Henry, whoever that is, Robert Klein's good, Rob Reiner, and the Blues Brothers Band. That's going to be a laugh riot. All right, let's see if I can get it out of here. It's sticky. Yeah, you'd figure people would rent this, right? Especially the boomers that saw these in 74, 75, or whatever. This one looks like it's been through the mill. I don't see any signs or any indicators that it was a rental, but it would have to have been, right? To get this level of damage. NTSC, they had to put that on there, huh? Funny. And it looks pretty thin, bro. Not a lot of tape in there. Blame It on Rio. This one's got somebody in there, Michael Caine and Debbie Moore. And yes, I know it's Demi, but I refuse to play along, so it's Debbie. I just heard her talking about this like maybe a month ago. She called this not a great movie and an old man's fantasy. And you know what? She's probably right. There you go. I don't think I've ever seen this movie. Certainly not fully. I know the premise just doesn't speak to me, but something about them, this girl here, and Debbie is her friend, and they go on a vacation. I think this guy is her dad, and she gets interested in Michael Caine, but then this chick is interested in the dad, which makes no sense. Whatever. That's a pretty well-known movie, I think. Most of you might know it. A lot of you probably saw it. There's the sign that it was a rental. And it looks like it's well used. I think that's the glue, though, to be fair. No side sticker. I don't know, man. Try to keep it real. All right. Tom Selleck and some other chick. Runaway. I don't know this movie. I don't think I've ever seen this. Gene Simmons from Kiss is in this. And Kirstie Alley. Oh, I'm going to watch this. Stan Shaw. I don't know who that is. This must be a little bit later, because look, we got a barcode there. Let's see. Futuristic. I do love movies of the future that were made in the past. There's some fun stuff going on there. That looks like Kirstie Alley from there. I'm guessing she's a love interest or something. I don't know what's going on here. And look, Gene Simmons is having a bad day. What's the year on this? A little over an hour and a half. Oh, there it is. 85. Huh. This would have been in the middle of the Magnum phenomenon. And I see signs of this being a rental. Probably what was going on here. Can't be 100% sure, but that'd be my guess. There's the glue problem again. Runaway. I don't know how much life this tape has in it, but I mean, just from this cover, if this was a rental, I guarantee you this was out every night. and probably for years. That would be my guess, because look at that. It's got Magnum, boom, whatever that is, and this chick's got a gun. You had a gun in the 80s, baby. I was ready. Little, I guess that's a little robot. You know what that looks like? That looks like the little robots that are in some of the stages of Batman Arkham Knight. I wonder if they copied that. Maybe it was an homage. Speaking of stuff I don't want to watch, Grease 2. Now, can you imagine? I've had to watch this a couple of different times. You get married, you're going to be watching stuff like this. The only good thing about it is it's got Adrian Zmed from T.J. Hooker, so it's not all bad. But, I mean, the songs, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't even, I'm sure they just copied the first movie. It sure looks like it, doesn't it? But I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Up there. Got one of these fun flaps. Looks like it's in good shape. Ah, there's the rental. Now, come on. If this was a rental, you know girls were renting this at the rental store. You'd ask, what do you want to watch? Grease 2. And then everybody went, all right. And, you know, back then, it was very rare for you to have 2 VCRs or 2 TVs even. As silly as that sounds today, there's a screen in every room. But it would have been tough getting TV time for this. Look, also, I'm sure if there was a wife in the picture, she would be like, yeah, we're watching this. We've watched 15 Tom Selleck with gun movies. We're watching Grease 2. There's the rental sticker there. So you like people singing and dancing. That's going to be for you. Yeah, looks like. There he is. Look, no shit. By the way, I have a belt buckle like that, and I wear it most days, so I guess I'm not going to goof on him. But look at him. He's got his beard, his impossibly tight jeans on, and a shirt. This guy is ready, baby. There we go. Deborah Winger. I like her. I don't know why I heard that. I could be mixing things up, that she did not have a good time with this movie. Maybe that was Officer and a Gentleman. Maybe she said Richard Gere was a dick, which that tracks, right? And Fun Top. Let's see what kind of shape this is in. Come on. Oh. I don't want to come out of there. There we go. Barbarino. Wasn't it? Wasn't it Barbarino on Welcome Back, Kotter? I don't see any signs that this was a rental. And it's in really good shape. All things considered. Huh. Well, maybe we got past the rental. I don't see anything. All right. Is there anything more 80s than Footloose? Kevin Bacon is still around making movies, and he's got the Bacon Brothers Band. And here he is. One of the silliest premises for a movie. A town outlaws dancing. I mean, that is just crazy. Kevin Bacon, Laurie Singer, Diane Wiest, you know her, right? She was popular around there. She's in a lot of stuff. John Lithgow, listen, how good is he? Maybe one of these, I'll have to watch that. I don't remember getting past 5 minutes of it. It's just not my kind of thing, but there you go. Now you got to cut loose. I don't even like Kenny Loggins, sorry. No offense. Not even Highway to the Danger Zone. I much prefer the Berlin song in that movie than whatever. I don't see any signs this was a rental. And that's in pretty good shape, right? Now you gotta cut loose. And it's in stereo, okay? So, some good things may start happening. Whoa! Like this pile might fall in the middle of this. I've got another Jenga thing happening. All right, the China Syndrome. Probably everybody's heard about this, depending on your age. But you got Michael Douglas, Jane Fonda, whatever, and Jack Lemmon. I don't know what this thing is about. I'm not 100% sure I've ever seen this. Look at that. Wow, look at, I love that. I've got some, once I'm done with these honey holes, I've got some other cassettes, tapes, Betamax, whatever you want to call it. And some of them are really fancy. I mean, sadly, they're cardboard, so they're, they're not long for this world. But I'll be showing those. But this is pretty fancy for a tape size box. There's Jane Fonda with a very bad hat. There's a guy with a gun. So far, I'm interested. Michael Douglas. It looks like he's changing the oil, right? Let's see, what is this about? An explosive contemporary thriller starring Jane Fonda, Jack Lemmon. Well, we already know that. It casts Fonda as a TV news reporter. Oh, God, okay. Who witnesses a startling and controversial incident while covering a story on energy sources. Yeah, see, depending on when this was made, yeah, there was an energy crisis. So you get a lot of that kind of stuff. I'm watching James Bond, Man with the Golden Gun, and the big plot point is solar energy. The bad guy in this one is trying to steal, harness, or whatever, solar energy. So this was on people's minds during this time when gas was, $1,000 a gallon in the Jimmy Carter administration. Things going to town. China Syndrome is unique in that all three co-stars are Academy Award winners. I didn't know that. Fonda for Clute, Lemon for Mr. Roberts and Save the Tiger, and Douglas as the producer of Cuckoo's Nest. Well, I mean, that's not the same as winning. For, what is this right here? Oh, that's like a lamp or something. I was wondering if somebody had written something on there or whatever. I think Douglas has won an Oscar since then, right? Wasn't it Traffic he did? I don't remember. So, no signs this was a rental. Look at that. Got a little schnurd right there, but I mean, that's going to happen with plastic. But I don't see anything bad on the actual film itself on the reel. A couple of glue issues there. I might check that out. That sounds interesting. Maybe they take Jane Fonda and push her off the Grand Canyon. And as she's falling, she's snapping pictures. Going, you can't do that. And the last one, we're educating Rita. Now, this is one when I was very young, this was out. And I just remember, if my mother was into it, you knew you weren't going to like it. Well, now that I'm older, I might. But we were like, I want to watch Michael Caine I want to get a haircut. Okay, honey, sit down. Snap, 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 snap. That's what I see when I see this cover. Let's see what it's about. Maybe I'll change my mind. What are they doing here? Michael Caine and Julie Walters develop a highly unusual teacher-student in this smashing comedy about a young working-class woman on the path to self-discovery. This thing's spicy, huh? Rita, I guess Walters, desperately hungers for an education. To escape her dreary life as a hairdresser. Oh, come on. Don't shit on hairdressers. And confining existence at home. Confining as in small, trapped, can't get out of the box, I think. She enrolls in literature tutorials. Is that what that says? At a British university. Much to her bemusement, she is assigned to Frank Bryant. I'm Frank Bryant. If you cut my hair, I'm going to give you some tutorial lessons. A delusioned English professor who encourages his students to forsake Dead Poet Society. Dead Poet Society rip off something. I'll look at this, but the premise is pretty wild. Right off the bat, you can see here probably a rental, right? Sure, my mom rented this one. Yeah, look at that. I'm gonna know that's a rental. He's educating Rita. Come here, Rita. I'm going to educate you. All right, that's it for this one. I got a couple of picture ones left from this and then a bunch of brown boxes. So we are very nearly the end. I'm guessing we're going to be around honey hole videos at 10. As I'm looking at what's left of the pile, I'm guessing I might do a little more than 10 on one, but we'll see. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Catch you later.